Welcome. My name is Colleen Tauke and I'm the sewing specialist here at Fons and Porter. In this Quilting Quickly tutorial, I'm going to show you how to put together the pieces in the quilt called color braid. If you'd like to purchase this pattern, please visit our website. Now you can see the project behind me, color braid. It's really dynamic, big pieces, quick to put together. But as you look at it, sometimes people will see those setting triangles along the side and think it's made in diagonal rows. But in fact, this is actually made in 3 columns, and I'll show you how to do that. It's a little bit different construction. We usually tend to start to put our quilt together from the top, work our way across and then down. This time we're going from the bottom up. So here we go. We're working with 2.5-inch pre-cut strips, and one of the tan backgrounds just helps all those colors just pop out. So this kind of clay color with all those really jewel-toned strips makes for a really fun quilt. So what we need to do is take those strips and group them into sets of 3. Now when I'm working with a big bundle like that, I tend to sit down and kind of like playing cards. I deal out 3 together I like and then go on. And I want to make sure that I don't end up at the very end with 3 that I really don't like together, so I kind of play them into groups of 3 till you get colors that you like to have joined together. Then it's time to create strip sets. So 1, 2, 3 in a strip set. When we're joining these, do remember though that when you're putting the first 2 together, stop, go to the iron, press, and then join the 3rd piece. Because if you're joining all 3 together and thinking I'll iron later, it's really hard to get in and get a nice crease on those strip sets. So make sure that you're pressing seam allowances to one side. It doesn't make a difference in this one which direction. Just take that break from the sewing machine. We love to sew, but we also need to iron, so make sure you get your strip sets pressed nice and neat. Then once you've got a bunch of them created, you can stack. Now if you're not comfortable stacking pieces, that's okay. If you're a beginner, just work on 1 strip set at a time. You're going to be cutting different lengths and you're going to refer to your pattern. Now there's 2 different lengths you need to cut. There's the 10.5-inch strip, which you can see in the quilts, those large ones. And then there are a few that go along the outside edge that are just portions of strip sets. And we have you cut those at 7. So you need to get a 10-inch or 10.5-inch segment and the 7-inch segment off of your strip sets. Like I said, if you're not comfortable, just do on 1 piece at a time, but once you get comfortable, you can stack them. You can see that I have 4 different strip sets here, stacked on top of each other, and I've got them parallel along so I can cut large chunks at once, and that would make cutting all these pieces go really fast. So I can go along and cut a 10 or 10.5 and then the 7s, and once I have all my pieces then, it's onto the construction. Whoops, there's one more piece. We do have those setting triangles that I showed you on the outer edges there that make columns. And what you're going to be doing there is from large squares, you're going to be, I'll reassemble this, I already have them cut, but you're going to be cutting a square of fabric diagonally in both directions, and those will be the triangles that will go along the side of your strips. So once you get those large squares cut diagonally, stack them up nice and gently. Remember that those cutting lines, those last lines you cut, those are all bias edges, so you want to be very careful with those and handle them very gently. On the outer corners, the 4 corners of this quilt, or corners of the columns, there are also some smaller triangles that come from squares like this, and they're just cut diagonally once. So your bias edge is here. And those are going to be, follow your instructions in your diagrams, it'll show you exactly where those go in the columns. So now, your next best friend is going to be your diagram, because I said you're going to build these columns from the bottom up, which is a little bit different orientation than we're used to. So it's kind of nice to have that nearby when you're working and trying to assemble these. So I have my larger segments and the small ones, and this is the assembly. See, even for me, I'm going to be looking at my diagrams, double checking that I get the orientation correct. So we've got here, then got a piece like this, and that's going to be at the very bottom of my project. Now we're going to keep building. We're going to build on top of that. So then we take another piece and we come in. See how I've created a straight line here? That means that my next piece is going to go here. Make sure I get that. That's right. Then my next one goes here. And because it looks kind of funny here, this is where my straight line is going to be, the very bottom edge of my quilt. So, and then once I've got this on, I get a straight line there. So here's my next piece. Now for the fill-ins, because this needs to be a column when we're done, right? So I'm taking those larger quarter square triangles that I cut from my large square, and I'm going to fill in these spaces. Now we haven't sewn anything together yet. This is kind of the design process. You kind of have, I want you to see kind of in your head what it's going to look like. And then I need my small square. That small one that we just cut in half once goes in here. Now the construction is going to be, again, follow your instructions for how to put everything together, but you're going to be creating rows, somewhat kind of rows, I guess, putting pieces here, sewing. Then you're going to be putting in this piece on the end here, joining them together. And then on to the next one, you can put this piece here, join here, press, and then join this piece on. And then see how we're going back and forth? It's a weave, that braid, this piece, join here, oops, some fuzz, and press, and then this piece will join here. So it's kind of a back and forth. Again, your diagrams are your best friend in color weave, or color braid. So when you are in the process, you will get a long column. You'll go in at the very end and take a ruler, probably a little bit longer than this one, but you're going to be removing some of the pieces along the bottom so you get that the bottom of your column, and you're going to repeat that at the very top also. So you get a long rectangle, create 3 columns, and you have a quilt top. Finish it with border and binding, and color braid is your quilt for your family room. If you'd like to see more of our Quilting Quickly tutorials, please visit our website. Thanks for joining me.